Hey guys, welcome back to Ride in the Pine. Today's show is proudly brought to you by our sponsors Game Day, Bathroom Brilliance, JPM Hardwood, and also Alpha Exteriors. Now, I'm here today for the Mitchell Fleming Cup, and I'll obviously bring in more guests on the show. Next up, we have Craig Leighton, mate. Welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Tex.
So guys, Craig is the Vice President of the Dapto Chiefs, but he's also heavily involved in this baseball development program. So I thought he'd obviously run us through sort of the ins and outs a little bit, best he can. So we'll get straight into it. So we talk about the Baseball Growth and Development Forum. So where did this come from? Why did it happen? What's going on?
Yeah, so basically what we needed to, within Illawarra, we needed a bit of a recruitment, development and retention strategy. You know, we've got, the goal for me is to get senior league back up and running down here. And to do that, we need to build a firm base. And, yeah, so we get our players to 14s, and then we have a fairly solid attrition rate between 14s and seniors. Because, I mean, a lot of people don't want to go and play at 14 years old. They're not ready physically, mentally, mature enough to go and play with men. So it's a big missing link. And then we sort of, there was a couple of us coaches were getting a lot of kids through at the Illawarra stage at under 14s and just didn't understand the fundamentals.
So was that because there was no under 16s or under 18s comp within the Illawarra region for them to sort of move gradually into before a seniors trip?
No, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple of years ago, the senior league folded, which is it's that bridge. It's that almost under 16s age group.
Yeah.
So to form that bridge between juniors and seniors, that's our biggest gap. So the idea was how do we do it? So we just, I'd spoken to a guy named Vince Crawley, who's a bit of a stalwart and
definitely a big name in the Gong area, and obviously makes his way into MacArthur even. Like his reach is pretty big.
Yeah. So he's had a lot of experience in the business world and business plans. And I know that I was probably 15 or 16 years old when the Illawarra Flame were around. I went to a business plan sort of presentation that Vince ran for the Illawarra Flame. Didn't really understand it back then. Didn't really understand the bigger picture. And it's only sort of gone through the juniors, through seniors, come back through the coaching ranks and seen that there's some real big rocks we need to tackle in regards to recruitment, retention, and then player development.
So touching on the Illawarra Flame aspect, obviously I was actually part of that as a player through the Illawarra Flame Elite program. Now, obviously we participated in the state men's league in the summer. Now, obviously that's all I kind of know as far. We have a guest. We have a friend saying hello. But yes.
I'll come and see you in a sec.
Yeah, for sure. But no, we with not being aware of the admin side of the Flame, I was just part of it as a player, and then obviously a few years later, it kind of just folded, and I just kind of got lost in the Sydney sort of system. So obviously something happened, and it hasn't sort of transitioned or gained legs since then. So, but we're trying to obviously reclaim something in that space, right?
Yeah. So I was also there was 2 Illawarra Flame programs run, and it was just a coincidence that that's the 2 years that Illawarra Flame won the under 18s. So there is some synergies there, and some I don't know if it's a coincidence or not. So that's where, again, for us it's about the numbers of players. We originally, when I was playing, there was probably about 1,200 registrations. Now it got down to about 200 through COVID.
Wow.
And all the regional associations were the same. And then my eldest is starting to get into the under 16s and under 18s sort of country teams. And then you go and look at the level of the quality of players, but at that competition. We just think we need to do something, and it starts at the local level. So and for us, with the attrition rate, we might start off with 4 teams in an under 10s. When it gets under 16s, you scratch around to get a team.
Yeah.
So the idea of the growth and development was around getting in as many players as possible, but then also supporting them through good quality coaching, good quality programs, and developing them as good quality players so they start to enjoy the game more.
Was there a bit of, I guess, feedback or surveys or research done into trying to find out why that attrition happened outside saying life? Like, was there any sort of big I don't know, obvious markers?
Yeah, well, COVID was one for us. So
Okay.
COVID was, we're at a stage where we had 4 teams and then COVID hit. And we're fairly close to some of the Southern Sydney associations. So they had 4 grades of 6 teams. So they were always going to consolidate, even if they weren't sure if it was going to go ahead, to at
Yeah.
least one comp.
Yeah.
So a lot of people left for that. So there's one significant marker, and then the other one was the next year was the wet weather that come in, and we're in exactly the same boat. So it really just depleted a full age group of
I was gonna
players
say,
down to.
I was gonna say, even our Sydney, in our like local men's league up there, I particularly remember that season because we had half our season lost to rain, and like the club just ended up having to refund us because it was like we never really played. So that can look, as a men's, you can kind of probably cop that on the chin. It's a bad season.
That's right.
But during a fundamental growing stage for kids, that can hurt you, right? Because they're like, well, is this going to be the norm? And then they don't know.
So if you ask, so they're the sort of events, but outside of that, it was really the attention. So we got a couple of presidents have come in, and we've built. Each president that's come in has really tried to build on the last one, but we've got Lachlan Storman now, who's really put a focus on the growing the numbers, and there's a couple of key players there, and it's. Last year we grew by 50%, and this was a lot of this stuff was as a result of the forum and getting people together.
So are we looking at, like, if I was to give the audience a rough number, like around maybe the 400, maybe 450, how many kids we're kind of looking at now? Where we're at?
We doubled. It'd be up around the 500. We 53% growth last year. So, and that was through a real targeted marketing program. We've got to build the brand again, right? So back then, Illawarra was known as a baseball community.
Yep.
We lost it. We're just trying to get that back now.
And are we still trying to build around the Berkeley field where we play juniors at? Is that where the juniors are still now today?
That's the regional hub for junior baseball, and then the seniors spread out. But as Illawarra baseball, we've got to be supporting all of the facilities so that we've got places to go. But Berkeley's definitely the hub. Although, this is only in my mind's eye. We've looked to a couple of key areas that come out of the development forum was we only service one half of Wollongong. So we could service as soon as we service Shell Harbour and down to Kiama and Gerringong, it almost doubles our market again. And they could look at avenues of setting up a couple of fields down the southern end of Shell Harbour.
Just like obviously, I mean, when I was growing up in the juniors, and I remember some, like, we're talking south. Is this places where like the old teams like were real Warriors and those? What happened to those sort of areas? Because in that area.
Yeah. So the Warriors, sort of cover Rillo, but haven't really.
No, I never saw them as a full top to bottom club.
Kiama used to have 2 teams.
Yeah, the Brave. That's right.
There's a market down there. They've got a lot of cricket players. They've got a lot of same as Gerringong. But so I guess that's the forum for us was as we've got the marketing strategy, but we need to get for the game to grow. We need to get people involved.
Yeah.
And the forum was about bringing everyone together, consultation in regards to their feedback of what they think needs to happen. Yeah. I think we got over 200 and something light items with feedback.
That's right. So we were deep diving a bit earlier, and that list is massive. So there's a lot of topics to get through and suggestions and stuff to kind of build around, right?
So it's we categorise those, and it come into about 6 different categories. We can probably list them. There was player recruitment and retention, coach development, player development.
We're old, mate. We write stuff down. So we've got marketing and communication. We have fundraising, sponsorships, facilities, administration, scorers, umpires, right? So there's a lot of key topics, key areas that really need to build that foundation correctly, and then it's going to grow from there, right?
That's right. So they're the topics that come out. They're what we ask for feedback on. But the forum is around exposure, communication, and consultation. So what happens now is we've got in the juniors, we've got one standing committee set up out of about 5 or 6 at the moment.
Yep.
So everything that comes in goes to that standing committee, and it's a few people. So, of course, when you get overloaded and start to feel the pressure, then
Things slip.
well,
The gaps get
things
bigger.
don't get action.
No.
So the idea of this was then to try and bring as many people in.
So,
A lot of
lighten the load of duties.
I find a lot of people want to help,
Yep.
but they don't know how to get involved.
Yeah.
So this was opening the door and a bit of an avenue to say it's okay to help. So if we get one person in who wants to run the junior operations, that's fine. They're not necessarily going to understand a full marketing strategy. They're not going to understand fundraising or sponsorship strategy. They don't have that skill set. So what the idea of that player development and growth forum was about was drawing them skill sets out, so you can contribute to the growth of the game without knowing how to play baseball.
Yeah, like owning your life skill and giving back to it, and it just kind of just rolling off nice and easy, right?
So what the idea is to try and provide people or the additional standing committees with a scope an inch wide and a mile deep. And what we're doing now is giving people a scope of a mile wide and an inch deep. So if we can isolate the people who have specialised skills in that area and build a little bit of a team around them, we might have come up with 6 or 7 standing committees that all work together, then I think that's the key of the really pushing the game forward down here.
I've spoken to a few people who've come on the show recently, and it's something I kind of asked, and it was like this is exactly what we need, what I'm going to describe. But like, part of your kid's rego, almost you want to be like, what does your mum and dad do for a job? Not to be some stalker, some weird negative stuff, but like maybe they want to give back again, not knowing how to ask, but being like, I'm an accountant. What good's an accountant at a baseball? No, well, there's accounting needs, right? Or whatever it is, right? It's just if you have spare time and you have some sort of skill outside the baseball, I'm sure we can use that in our community somehow.
100%. And we're going to harness those skill sets and let them know that it's okay to get involved, and that's where we're going to see an explosion.
Now, obviously, so this kicked off back in 2025 July.
Yep.
And so obviously now we're in July of 2026. So we've gone past the draft. We've gone past finalising the plan. So we're starting to kick it going now, aren't we?
Yeah. So we presented to the club chairs and the board, and everyone was in favour of supporting the approach. And so we've given. We've asked for a response from all the clubs in regards to and the board for a sort of written response on their endorsement and they're buying, so we need their support. We need the clubs to promote. We need the board to help with the administration side of things. We need everyone to be moving in the same direction.
Yeah, not just hold a title, hold a chair, and be like, someone else has got it.
Yeah,
like if you want that role, we need you to take part in
ownership.
Ownership.
And that comes to everyone. That comes to the coaches. That comes to the senior players. That comes to that's everyone. That's just not isolating one section. That's the clubs need to drive this through their clubs. We need to get the senior players back to start coaching our junior players. And I think that's when we talk about the significant events, when we talk about the COVIDs and likes, that's an event. But another big area of the decline was not having that skill set come back and give back to the younger players. So
so that was something we touched on here with sort of it was sort of that the giving back from experienced players who have grown up in the region. They've done their rep duties, they've done their national duties, and it's like, well, they may not be playing, but let's not lose that experience, that guidance, because they've been there, done that.
Yep, absolutely.
And you can't just kind of make that stuff up.
No, and the thing is that it went through a fairly solid period of parents doing the right things by coaching a team because there was no one else to do it.
Yeah.
And now we're in a phase where there is a lot of senior players starting to come back and have kids, and that's great, but we need to bring people back before they have kids and really, and it doesn't mean that we have to, they need to be invested for a full season, but we're starting to get the Josh Deans and the Trent D'Antonios and the Scott Torreys and the Jared Kamains back to do isolated programs with them specialised. So we're getting to see some real momentum.
Well, definitely. Obviously, I had Jared on earlier, and obviously he's president of your club. So there's a young person who's not even 40, president of a club. And so you've got that young drive to really promote and also see through these business ideas and development, right? And kind of check in, keep things, make sure they're going down the right path and not veering, right? Because it can also like sometimes at work, projects all sound good at the start and everyone gets given their job and then it kind of just fades. So what's the process to keep things on check, keep going along? Do it.
For me, it's a solid governance structure, and then maintained and driven by the leadership.
Okay.
And if that and if it doesn't mean that we have to all get in and do everything. It just means that we need some accountability over certain standing committees or areas, and take some ownership. So that's from my perspective in regards to administration side of things, and I'd like to see that. And to be fair, there is a lot of the ideas that it's been 12 months and we've only just presented the plan, but there's a lot of ideas being taken on board and starting to happen already. There's a logistics officer just been appointed, like from the board. So that's just a perfect step in the right direction. Give it ownership over that one task, and then we'll just replicate that multiple
Because
times.
it can be hard when you hear of general positions of, say, a president, a vice president, a chairperson, a treasurer, and then it kind of like maybe a canteen stuff. That's where the logistics plays into it because you don't know who sometimes responsibilities fall under, and you
No,
get overwhelmed.
that's right. That's why it needs to be established. What standing committee takes accountability and responsibility for each task, and then you know who to go to then.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's we haven't really had the people to draw on, but I think we're starting to see a lot of the players come back that are keen to help. We've got guys I'm coaching with the juniors rep stuff that like you'd be perfect to be helping out with a representative selection committee, and which looks after everything representative. So and they're like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, so we just got to talk to people.
Yeah.
It's all about that positive contact instead of just flicking out a social media post. We need to talk and engage, and it's been pretty successful. There's a lot of people that want to be involved, like I said, just didn't really know how to.
No, that's right. I mean, I don't have kids. I can't give my non-kid to your. So, but it's like, how do I give back? Well, here I am.
Yeah.
Right. We're sort of exposing the things that are going on, not just plans, but we have different matches, different tournaments, and it's like, hey, we need to highlight baseball in a big whole, and then when I do the touring around, I see you guys. I really want to hear the good parts because this is definitely stuff that we need to see get better. And having been growing up here, I love seeing it come back because there's nothing worse than hearing it kind of almost disbanded and fold and like that sucks, man. I don't want to see it go.
We're not going to let that happen.
No.
That's right. So, but in regards to the forum and the bits and pieces that have happened, it ranges, right? So, we've got there was an infrastructure of facilities, and we had one of the senior players say, "Why have you got locks on your cages?" And we're like, "What do you mean?" So, well, why don't you put a combination lock on so all the boys can go down and have a hit? And we're like, "This is such a great idea." And it was like, we'll have a look at our cages now. They're all got combination locks on. Like, go and use it. We want people to use it. And then that ranges from having access for players who want to do the extras to, working with country baseball and based in New South Wales. And we've just had the trials for development. We've set up a development hub. I think the next step will be a high performance hub, but we need to get through this development stage.
Yep.
And that's in conjunction with Illawarra Academy of Sport, Baseball New South Wales, Country Baseball, and Baseball Illawarra.
But you need the facilities, right? You need them to do what they want to do.
Yeah, that's right. So we're lucky enough to have Cardinals got a little bit of light down at their field, and so we can run this at night. And it just opens up an opportunity to, and this is where the baseball communities come on board. We just approached them and said, you're the only one that's got it. We're right to use it. They're like, yep, no worries.
That's good.
So as a whole, the baseball community is coming together because we can see that it's been a bit stagnant. It's been a bit of a decline for a long time. So now's the time, right? We've all got to get in and get started.
So we touched on a bit of coaching earlier, right? Obviously saying we've got now more experienced players coming back. So there's more coaching clinics being run, right? So more level Bs, maybe even some level Cs, right? And it's good to have them run through the Illawarra to kind of get everyone a bit, what's the word, the credentials, right? To get accredited, right? Yep. So are we seeing that? We're seeing that pick up?
We've seen it once, but again, it comes back to someone needs to drive it. Someone needs to own that relationship with Baseball New South Wales. Someone, and it's only going to be a small committee. They need to be, and again, there is we've got the ability in the governance structure, in the coach and technical committee. So as soon as we get that up, it's not just relying on one person. Again, that's their job to build them relationships. Again, it's a scope an inch wide and a mile
Yeah.
deep. They'll set the agenda. They'll be able to drive the participation in these. They need a minimum number. They'll be able to drive that, work with Baseball New South Wales, and continually get those coaching courses up and running. So we've got one level C that's happened the first time ever down here. So that's a start. That's a really good move. As much as it was connected through the internet, but if we get people just a group concentrated on the development of the rep coaches and the club coaches, and work with as a conduit into Baseball New South Wales, that's where the specialisation comes in those areas and things start to pick up.
That course, I'm pretty sure that was the last time we caught up in person, wasn't it? I think just before the 16s, 18s tournament.
Yeah.
That's when they were running it out of Berkeley, and that looked like a pretty good turnout, right?
Yeah, for the level B, that was a really good turnout. The level C was also a good turnout, like because you need to get your level A, B, and then C. So, but now that we've got them bulk level Bs, then we can start to grow and build on that.
It's just one less thing as a rep team to worry about, right? Do I have an accredited coach, right? So the higher level your coach is accredited, the higher he can invest in that team to take it even further because he now has that credential.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just feels so natural, doesn't it?
Well, it just takes the pressure off the one or two people with the accreditation to have to coach.
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time, when my eldest was in the 18s, like we got two quality coaches in Chad Blanche and Aaron Trenton. I didn't have to coach, and it was amazing. It was good to sit there and be a dad. So, and that was, because if you've got the accreditation, and it's almost like you're it.
We want you're the person.
We want it back to a competitive merit-based selection sort of approach where people are fighting to coach. So, and I think that we're not far off that.
Because it also, like, with that competition, just like a player, to keep you edgy, keep you up to date, what's something that can make me a better coach to help the kid be better, right? Like, why should they choose me? But that's a good direction.
So one last thing on that, we've got the Institute of the Illawarra Academy and the Development Hub. There's talk of whether it's this year or next year to put an EOI out to have two development coaches come and be a part of that. So maybe not for the coaching structure, but they will be there every session too, because as much as they get to understand it, they can take it back.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and farm the coaches through, not just the players to develop the players, but develop the coaches through that, understand the training structures, understand the skills, understand the way to manage the session. So that's the next step for that.
That's perfect.
Development hub.
So do you work? So we're going to talk now a bit about the marketing and communication. So obviously we're talking trying to the outreach, right, to the Kiamers, the Rochelle Harbours, getting more code. Like how are we improving that space of the marketing and communication?
We've used what we had a couple of different strategies last time. I think the most effective one was a paid social media strategy, which is forced into people's phones, basically.
Yeah.
I talked with Baseball New South Wales a while ago when I was trying to figure out the matrix, and I mentioned to them that, in your annual general report, you've spent $5,000 on marketing as a peak sporting body for the nation. And they said, yeah, but we've got you're more than welcome to use our 40,000 people on our social media. And the problem is that those people already understand what baseball is and who it is and it's played.
Yeah.
Like, we need avenues to market to people and promote to people who don't know baseball's played.
Right.
And that's where you're going to get your big gains. So in regards to the communication, I sort of see there's the marketing, which is the trying to promote and build your brand and draw people in. But then there's communication, and if there is one essential component of this growth and development forum that we've maintained, and this is established and pushed up front from Vince Crawley, was you need to communicate, and you need to bring people along in the journey, and that's what we've done. So the forum, every update we've sent out the plans, we've sent out the proposals, we've sent out what we've intended to do, we've sent out our milestones that we've hit. Anything that gets up and running, we've sent that out as well. So people are well informed. And again, by us bringing them on the journey, we've had people reach out and say, I can do this for you. I can help here.
Because they just weren't aware.
But they weren't aware. They weren't aware. And, for us to take that next step as an association, the communication needs to be the utmost, upfront, foremost, I should say, priority, and communicate.
Well, it's the transparency as also because like I'm not gonna lie, like baseball, there's politics in baseball, and sometimes parents and outsiders can feel a bit on the outside, right? So the more that we clear that up, show you everything, it just allows you to integrate and want to join it and be like, yeah, I know what's going on. They've been telling me the whole time.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, and what are the achievements? What are the things coming up? Instead of saying you talked to a lot of people, I didn't know that was happening. Like I just for me, the biggest thing out of this has been really successful is pushing the communication, and I think we need to continue with that.
Definitely. So let's move on to a bit of fundraising and sponsorship. So obviously trying to get a bit more sponsors on board. Any particular sponsors or like for funding anything in particular?
No, yes, in particular, as in we've had. I think the days of a general just give us the money and we'll use it as best we can is I think that's
It's off-putting.
well, it's not as successful as what we've had lately. So we've looked at initiative based sponsorship, so that you own an initiative. So again, we've had a couple of initiatives like the free T-ball, for argument's sake, with the local sports solutions. They've come on board and they're funding the majority of that cost, and they own that. So anything associated with free T-ball, they own it. We sell it, we promote it. As opposed to I sponsor Baseball Illawarra juniors, they sponsor that specific um, initiative. So in the local Dapdo club, we had Jamani Trophies come on as our umpiring sponsorship. We made shirts up. What better person to have a sponsor on their back than the umpire? And they basically paid for all the umpiring fees for our junior. I mean, at this stage, it was only for our local Dapdo club, but we've worked to get a bit of a sponsorship deal from one of the local clubs to sponsor the associations, so that we can look for all of the clubs can get their senior league players back to umpire under 10s, under 12s. I mean, there's so many benefits to that.
Yeah.
So, one, they got a bit of pocket money. Two, we keep the older kids involved. And three, the coaches don't have to umpire.
No.
So it is one of the biggest bugbears for me, and it's at the detriment of the kids, is coaches having to go out and umpire and not be able to coach the kids through the game.
Yeah.
So there's so many benefits to it. So if we just build initiatives and the sponsor owns that, we've had some real success. And you just promote and market that particular piece. And it's that's what we're going to continue as a local club, and I hope we continue it as a
for sure.
association.
I think if you're sponsoring something, it's not so much about getting like a dividend, like a share, but there's a sense of ownership and a bit of pride and go like I can see where I've exactly helped a club, a community, and that makes you feel good, right? It also keeps you keep sponsoring because I want to see it keep going.
Yep.
Right. I'm feeling happy about it. I see this progress, and like everyone's winning.
Yep.
Right. So it's really good to hear that that's the angle you guys have chosen. So facilities, we touched on like the locks on the cages and stuff. So is there anything else that's sort of in the facility aspect that we're looking to improve on? Like I wrote down lights, but I write down lights for everyone.
Oh, lights!
Right? It's hard, right?
Right,
because you said you're getting help from Cringilla and the cards, which is great.
Yep.
But it would be great eventually if we got a couple other fields with lights.
Oh,
right?
we need three. We need three fields with lights. I mean, all the Metropolitan Senior League competitions are run on Monday or Friday night. That's where that age group you can cater for them. So not only that, you've got your training through the winter. Your senior players have got an hour at most. So there's so many benefits to it. It just costs a lot of money.
I mean, look, when I was down here with the Pirates, we'd hire out the University of Wollongong's hockey fields because we didn't have lights.
Yep.
And then we had to kind of make like a portable. It was a portable batting tunnel that we shoved basically into a trailer. And again, it's sort of like how much back and forth, and it gets like, oh, I don't want to take the trailer this week, and then it starts to break down ever so slowly. It's like, hey, if we have batting cages, we have our field, all we need is lights.
All we need is lights, and I mean it's hard because it costs a bit, But you look at all the soccer, footy, tennis, hockey, like everyone is lit up.
Yeah.
It's just baseball. So
And there's people
we
there. There's
need to sell
people
that.
there. There's
We need,
people there using it.
that's right. There will be, but it's the prohibitive cost. So we need some sort of. We just need to keep pressuring local governments, state governments, local developers, all those bits and pieces. But absolutely, is priority number one. If we could get lights, we'd take them.
Well, outside that, is there any immediate projects going on, or from we're upgrading anything at any particular field, or?
Oh, we've got proposals in for Dapto, a couple $1 million worth, but it's sort of a bit tough times at the state level. So the local member is really pushing for us, but at this stage, it's not bearing a great deal of fruit. But
Okay.
it's we'll just tidy up what we've got. But at this stage, I think there is proposals in for the Berkeley to get lights. I think there's conditions on that. But I can't really talk to that. But
No, that's fine. Look,
if it comes off, that'd be amazing.
Beautiful. Let's talk about volunteer engagement. So obviously we did touch about it. The more that you communicate stuff, that easier is for people to sort of involve themselves, right?
Yep.
Are you looking for volunteers in a particular spot at the moment that people may not be aware of?
Absolutely. So what we need to do as a part of so we've had I understand we've had endorsement at the association level with the plan, and what comes with that endorsement is an ownership and a lot of work in a lot of areas. So one's building those standing committees out. I think there's a little bit of work in regards to understanding the accountabilities and responsibilities of each committee. Once we've established that, we can sell that and push that through the forum distribution list, the association, seniors and juniors. A lot of this is agnostic to seniors and juniors. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a governing body that works for both, and that's the key. We've got to get rid of that barrier, and it's all got to be for baseball Illawarra. It doesn't matter if it's seniors or juniors. So once we establish that, we can look for the skill sets to suit and promote that and encourage people to get involved.
You're going to tell them. You're going to tell them, hey, we're after these skills.
Yeah.
If this ticks your box,
Yeah.
hit us up, right?
Help us out. You only need one little bit.
So does that include? I've got here mascot.
Oh, the mascot is that was listed a couple of times out of the feedback from the forum, and I've actually looked into it. It's quite expensive. We might have to go off a crowdfunding sort of exercise, about 10 grand for mascot. But it would be amazing for little engagement activities for little kids, and we could do a really good job.
But not just the kids. Like you take the mascot into the shopping center, like wherever, like it's an iron bird. It's recognizable. Like what's going on, and just starts the chatter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
it just draws people to you.
Obviously, I've been to like the Hawks games where they have the Hawks and stuff, and like they're pretty nice. Like they are legit.
Yeah.
But how much are we looking here? What's the budget on something like a mascot? I've never even
we
wondered.
got a quote. Yeah, it was a quote for about between 9 and 10 grand. So it's sort of balked at that. But again, if there is some sort of initiative-based sponsorship and someone wants to come in and sponsor half of that and own that mascot, well, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So, and any time the mascot goes out, they're selling their brand as well. That's how we're going to start to chip away and reduce that cost burden to something that's manageable for a association that there's a little bit of money there, but it's not like one of the rich associations down in Essendon, for argument's sake.
Now, I was wondering, obviously this touches on the mascot, because obviously if that mascot came to fruition, it'd be an iron bird.
Yeah.
So I see this in the juniors. Is this a branding from juniors through to every single level of Illawarra rep?
At this stage, it's a sort of, that's the Illawarra Juniors brand, but you see the parts of the uniform that need to be replaced are starting to get replaced, like hats and bits and pieces with the Iron Bird. Yeah. So it is an amazing initiative in regards to a sellable brand, and it's Nathan Fitzgerald and Dale Jenkins sort of pushed for that, and Nathan did the artwork and everything. So
I won't lie, I know a guy at a game day. He'd be able to help you guys out for sure. I'm sure you guys can work out something if you're looking for
we'll hook up offline.
Yeah, for sure. Now, before I let you go, so a quick touch on umpiring. So what's the umpire sort of engagement? How many umpires you currently kind of have in Illawarra? Do you know?
I know that there's not enough. Yeah. And I think that, I think last year we put a community umpiring course out, and we put 4 of our DAPO kids through it. and that was the first one that had been up and running in 10 years.
Wow.
So I just feel that we need to look at an alternative solution. So we got our juniors to one. It was sort of a selfish approach because it relieved the coaches to be able to coach, and the umpires got they got $30 a game. End up getting about $400 or $500 at the end of the year. Like, they were super happy. It kept
that would pay for your entire season's rego.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, but from what, in regards to an incentive, if our Chiefs players coached a junior team, then we wipe their fees for the seniors too. So we're creating those incentives to give back. So
and year round, not just 6 months of the year. Like when we need you a year round to get engaged, stay engaged, and like maybe then long term pass your umpiring knowledge down to the next kids that come through. Right, that's the golden plan.
Well, the benefit of going through the umpires course is the young players get to understand a different aspect of the game. So once from a coach's perspective, we've run a lot of games and even tournaments through understanding the rules. So the getting them to give that deeper understanding of the rules and how the game's played and what you can and can't get away with, I think there's benefits there. There's benefits of keeping them involved, and there's benefits of a pathway into the senior umpiring, which helps them out. And there's benefits of letting the coaches coach and develop the players so we get a better competition.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, hey, we're almost at game time. It's almost at 1:30, so you need to go warm up. So, hey, guys, that will wrap us up for today's segment. But we're going to have more players, coaches, maybe some umpires. I'll see who I can find around. But the game will kick off here at 1:30. Check out the live Aussie Baseball link. The game will be live streamed there. And obviously check back up here on my YouTube channel. We'll have a few more people later in the day. But hey, Craig, you go get ready. Thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, stay tuned, guys. We'll see you soon. See ya. Bye.